Assalamualaikum, my name is ABILLA binti AZMI, PC 19076 from Group United. I want to present about life cycle assessment. The introduction is the term life cycle assessment refer to the orderly stocking and investigation of the ecological effect of item interaction or alternation from the extraction of unfiltered raw materials to the installation, use and treatment of waste. 2 is a standard and design standard are provided by ISO 14040 with requirement and direction are framed by ISO 14044. ISO 14040 is essentially designed for supervisor, while ISO 14044 is made explicitly for specialists. The LSA approach has been criticized as a whole and in ambiguous circumstances, for example, technical consistency, especially as for us the framework and weakness of individual. I will pass to next presenter.
History of LCA. In 1969, the first LCA was conducted by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola conducted the LCA study because they were aware and asked about the environmental impact, especially in packaging material. LCA have 4 stages. The first stage is the goal and scope definition. In the first stage, this will help ensure that the LCA is conducted in a consistent and structured manner. The most effective approach to achieve this is to evaluate the purpose of the study and the finding of the scope. The second stage, inventory analysis. This stage is to measure the sources and input of raw materials, as well as the environmental impact at each stage of the manufacturing process. The third stage, impact assessment, an assessment of all the impact that occur to the environment, able to draw conclusions that enable LCA analysts to make business decisions in a better direction and without compromising the environment. The last stage, interpretation. Components of the LCA when output have been identified in relation to the statement of goal and scope. Interpretation of assessment boundary, finding and recommendation made based on previous stage decision.
We have 3 types of life cycle assessment. First, conceptual LCA. Second, simplified LCA. Third, detailed LCA. First, conceptual LCA is a basic and simple, and the result can be as qualitative remarks, visuals, flow diagrams, or a simple score system. Next is simplified LCA, which is screening procedure that spans the complete life cycle, and they have 3 stages, which is namely screening, simplifying, and assessing reliability. The third one is detailed LCA. It is the entire process that runs the LCA. We have 5 principles of life cycle assessment LCA. The first one is raw material acquisition, which is all actions that are required to acquire raw materials and energy from the environment. The second one is processing and manufacturing, which is transforming raw materials and energy inputs into the finished good. And the third one is distribution and transportation, which is refer to the finished product delivered to the customer. Next is use, reuse, and maintain. The use of the finished product throughout its service life. And the last one principle is recycle. It begins after the product has finished its initial function and has been either recycled or transferred for a new product. We can call it a closed-loop recycling or open-loop recycling.
I will continue about application in product development process. For your information, there are 4 phases involved in life cycle assessment. This is a category of people that use life cycle assessment method. It can help in statistical conversation while interacting with any stakeholder in action on sustainability hierarchy. For the first fasa, the goal of life cycle assessment is to complete description of the product, and the scope is to define outlining qualitative and quantitative data in effort to be collected. ISO LCA standard was used to define it. Second, life cycle inventory fasa. It is a standard procedure to start building an inventory with data from product system input and output, as well as technical system flow model. Next, in this fasa, the primary goal of this life cycle impact assessment is to assess the potential environmental and human healthy implication of the life cycle inventory baseline. For the last fasa, one of the purpose of the implementing a life cycle interpretation is to assess the amount of the insurance in the final outcome and the ability to deliver in a fair, efficient and accurate manner.
So here, I will share about strength and weakness of life cycle assessment. First thing first, LCA can help in long-term making decisions about consumption and production patterns, legislation and management methods. Second, by incorporating a LCA into overall management, the organization can reap the benefits of environmental, occupational health and safety, risk and quality management. Third, LCA provide benefit to customer. LCA will guide consumer towards more sustainable consumptions. Next, LCA gives a comprehensive view of the environmental impact to reduce environmental risk while also making the product easier to dispose of. In addition, LCA able to determine the resale value at various phases of its life. Then, there's the cost of operation. The LCA enables us to budget for the cost of operating equipment at each step of the product life cycle. Aside from that, LCA can also help a company determine whether or not it needs to update to a new product. Finally, LCA gives a full picture of the product, process and service. After that, the weakness of LCA. Even the LCA done to ISO standard may not be suitable for use in marketing or disclosure material. Then, there's the possibility that energy indicators are irrelevant to the process or product. It's possible that cooperative LCA won't produce accurate comparisons. Following that, LCA contains limitations which may lead to skepticism of LCA results.
Last, conclusion. Environmental factors should be considered in an assortment of activities. This covers buying and administration-related choice. Information should be accessible to do as asked. The LSA approach has been critiqued as a whole and in ethical circumstances, for example, technical consistency, especially as for us the framework and weakness of individual.